So hi guys and welcome to the chapter 2. Okay, but before we proceed to chapter 2, let's have first an overview of our course outline. So I'm just gonna walk you through our schedule. So I hope you have already seen this one. Okay. Now for the schedule we have here. So as you can see, and I hope you already go over this one, this will be our topic for the whole duration of this subject. All right. So let's just focus first on the journal. So for the journal, we have at least 5 chapters that has to be tackled. Okay. And since we are on week 1, we will be on the first part, which is the introduction of basic components and electric circuits. Okay, so please do not be confused. These numbers here are not the chapter numbers on your book, but this is just, the label. I just numbered the topics here. But on the book, this is now chapter 2. Okay, so your target for this week is to finish chapter 2 of the book, which is very, very important, right? So let's proceed. Okay, so this is our chapter 2. The chapter 2 is entitled The Basic Components and Electric Circuits. Okay, so I have subdivided chapter 2 into different I've divided them into 3. Okay, so that medyo madali siyang i-handle. Okay, now this is 2.1, which talks about the units and scales. Let's proceed. Okay, so for the rest of the chapters or the subject, most of the time we will be solving 3 values. All right, you will find yourself solving these values. Etong current, voltage, and power. Usually, ito talaga yung sinasolve natin dito. Okay, now um, the discussions of the book focuses on how do we compute these values on the how you compute these values um, on the circuit, of course. Okay, so we have here the tip: pay close attention to the positive and negative. So we just later when we already have our solutions, you would appreciate this one. Okay, so for the units and scales. In order for the values to have measurable quantity, we must give both a number and a unit, such as 3 meters. Okay? So pag nag-solve tayo dito, we don't just say the number alone, but we have to state both the number and the unit. Okay? Ibig sabihin, when your answer is 3, for example, that means nothing. Right? What is 3? Because 3 could mean a lot. You might mean 3 seconds, 3 meters, 3 kilometers, 3 watts, 3 amperes, 'di ba? Ang dami niyang pwedeng ibig sabihin. So it's important, always, 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 do not forget that when we measure quantity, we have to write both a number, the number, and the unit. Okay, so talking about units, we have here our SI-based units. Okay, I want you to know that for the rest of our discussions, we will be adopting the SI-based units. I believe you're already familiar with the SI. Okay, so for the length, the length for the length we have meter. We measure it using meter, and the symbol is M. For the mass, we have this one. Most specifically, for this subject, we'll be using the electric current. Ito. So yung electric current natin is measured in terms of ampere. Of course, it is from Andre Marie Ampere. Are you familiar? And we have the symbol A. And this one, dito sa baba, most probably, hindi pa natin ito magagamit. Okay? I just want you to know, ayun lang, na SI base units yung ginagamit natin dito. Okay? So right here, there is some inconsistency regarding units named after the person should be capitalized. Okay? Because we know that a lot of this, name nila, is from person who introduced them. Tama ba? Maliban na lang kay meter at kilogram. Hindi naman to from persons. Pero itong seconds din, hindi. Pero itong ampere, si Kelvin, si Candela, hindi kasali si mole ha. Ito sila, they are derived from persons. They are named after the person who introduced them. Diba? So, meron daw merong inconsistency, whether it should be capitalized or not. Kasi usually when we write naman, mga sure names, we capitalize it. Tama ba? So, ayun, merong doubt. Meron daw doubt according dito. Okay. So, para uniform tayo, yung mga units, um, we will write it as small letters na. Okay? Kagaya nito. Yung ampere, small letter. Kelvin, small letter. Baka lang kasi makakita kayo later on na naka-caps yung mga ganitong klase ng units. Okay? Just you have to know, basta alam niyo lang na there are some who capitalize it because again it is from derived from person's name, but for convention, for uniformity, we will be using lowercase. Okay? So, pag nagsulat tayo ng mga units, lowercase. Right? So, let's proceed. Next, I have here the SI prefixes. Okay? So, you have here the factor, the name, the symbol. I will not read it one by one. Kayo nang bahala dyan. Now, I would suggest you memorize this one. Paki-memorize po ito. Very, very important. Most of the time, we will be dealing, ito dito banda. Okay? Meron din naman dito. We will be dealing centi, milli, micro, mga ganun. Okay? For example, pag meron kang pico, that means 10 to the negative 12. Tandaan nyo ang ibig sabihin niya. Okay? So, you memorize. From DC, centi, milli, micro, nano, pico, femto, ato, zepto, yokto, eta, deca, heka, kilo, mega, giga, tera, peta, exa, zeta, iota. Memorize them. Okay? And also, please be aware that, di ba meron tayong micrometer? Saan ba itong micrometer? Ibig sabihin, ito, times 10 to the negative 6. Ibig sabihin, pag meron kang 2 micrometer, that means 2 times 10 to the negative 6. Tama ba? So, instead of micrometer, there are some people who prefer to write it as micron. Right? So, yung micron and micrometer, they're the same. Wala lang, para alam nyo lang. Okay. Meron din tayo dito, very common din ito, itong angstrom. Itong angstrom is derived then from a person's name who introduced it. Yung angstrom, this is equal to 10 to the negative 10 meter. Kasi if you notice, wala siya dito, diba? So, yung angstrom, ayun. Pag meron kang 10 to the negative 10, angstrom yun. Usually, maliliit to eh. Usually, yung mga wavelength, ito yung pang-measure sa kanya, angstrom. Okay. And also, please note that combinations of several prefixes are unacceptable. Bawal po. Bawal po na paulit-ulit. Okay? May milli ka na, may micro ka pa, second. Wow, ano yun? So, milli microsecond. Hanep. So, ano yun? For example, meron kang 2 milli microseconds. So, that means 2 times 10 to the negative 3 times 10 to the negative seconds. Hindi na yun. Bawal po siya. Okay? You have to use only 1 prefixes if possible. Hindi if possible. 1 lang talaga. Okay? So, again, you memorize this one. Let's proceed. Okay, so I know you are aware of the engineering units. Alam niyo naman to, di ba? You know engineering units? So, sa engineering units, or engineering notation, a quantity is represented by a number between, usually yung quantity, sinusulat natin siya between 1 to 999. Okay? And an appropriate metric unit using power divisible by 3. So, yung ginagamit natin na unit, if possible, is divisible by 3. So, ginagamit natin tong milli. Kaya ma-notice nyo sa mga solutions natin later on, wala kang, for example, seconds, 1 deciseconds or 1 centiseconds, walang ganon. Diba? Very common, hindi ito common na ginagamit. Yung common na ginagamit, kahit itong kahit itong hecto tsaka deca, hindi siya common na ginagamit. Okay? Kasi sa engineering notation, most of the time, yung ginagamit is yung divisible by 3. Just like itong milli, micro, nano, pico, femto, atto, zepto, yocto. These are divisible by 3. And for sa other side, itong kilo, divisible by 3 kasi 10 to the power of 3. Mega, itong 10 to the 6, divisible by 3. So, ito yung usually ginagamit. Itong hecto, kilo, mega, giga, tera, peta, exa, zeta, iota. Okay? So, usually, hindi ito ginagamit. Sinali lang siya dito so that you would also be aware. Okay? Kasi, bakit nga hindi ito common na ginagamit? Kasi sa engineering notation, we usually write the metric unit using power divisible by 3. Okay? And yung number, if possible, 1 to 999. Kaya, pagdating niya ng, for example, ang 1,000. 1,000 is, sobra na siya sa 199, ano? So, yung 1,000, instead of writing na 1, 0, 0, you write this as 1 times 10 to the power of 3. Kasi sumobra ka na sa 999. So, usually, gagamitan mo na siya ayun, metric units. Gagamitan mo siya ng mga powers, which is divisible by 3. Okay? Nagets pa. So, for example, thumbs up naman kayo kung nagets. For example, meron kang 0.08 watts. Ano bang mali dito? Diba? Sabi, we write the numbers as 1 and 199. So, most probably, hindi ito siya pwede. So, we can rewrite this one as 48 milliwatts. Bakit milli? Kasi, yung lowest divisible by 3 is 3. So, we have to move this 3 places. 3 decimal places, which makes it 48 milliwatts. Okay? So, milli divisible by 3, pasok, check. Itong 48 is between 1 to 999, check. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung pinaka-suitable na or on how we write this 0.048 watts. Okay? Etong sa baba, anong mali dito? Pwede ba to? Pwede naman to kasi it's between 1 and 199. Kaso, anong mali? Ito, meron kang centiwatts. It's awkward. Alam mo, pag most of the time, you've been dealing with circuit analysis, calculations, it would be weird to see these units. No? Walang centiwatts, walang deciwatts, walang ganun. Okay. So, ito mali kasi meron siya. The power is not divisible by 3. Ito, anong mali? Of course, the power again is not divisible by 3. Ito, anong mali? This one, micro is 10 to the negative 6. Power is divisible by 3. However, ito, sumobra na po tayo. So, ang sabi, 1 to 199 lang. Ouch. The neto is 48,000. Ang laki na. So, ito ang pinaka-the best. Ma'am, tanong. Ito ba mali? Ito bang mga to hindi equal dito sa given? Hindi equal dito? Equal naman sila. Pero improper lang siya na pagkasulat. Kasi the best way is ito. According to the engineering units or notation. Okay? So, I hope naintindihan. Let's proceed. So, we have here our practice. Kayo nang mag-practice, ha? So, I have here video on this one.